If you guys have been missing some of the previous live Zooms, remember you guys can head over to like the comments or on Meetup. I also post on the comments section the previous events live Zooms there, or you can head over to the my website eltonvargas.com and head over to the real estate education, and all the videos are uploaded there as well too, just so that way you guys can have access to previously asked questions. Um, Again, part of the real estate wholesaling analysis is to um, finding like some deals, and I always call out if we find like some good deals or there's some bad deals, but I'm gonna go through examples of both of good and bad. And any guys, anytime you guys have a question, you guys can like raise your hands. I'll definitely stop the presentation. That way I can clarify something, or anything about that specific topic, you guys can definitely ask, or any further details, I'll definitely go over it. Um, but I'm just gonna give you like a head start. Should be already 5 minutes in, and then anybody else can join in. Again, this is always being recorded so they can watch it as well too, post-production once it gets fully uploaded from there. So again, just a little bit of background about me. My name is Elton, like Elton John. I don't do any singing whatsoever. I do real estate. Well, I basically do sales and marketing because that's what real estate wholesaling is all about. Just always constantly marketing, cold calling, just or warm calling, reaching out to agents, just try to find like a deal. Especially now that our rates are dropping, prices are slowly increasing as well too. But there's still a lot of good deals out there, and hopefully we're able to find one today with the random spin the wheel. But a little bit more about background about me. I've been doing real estate wholesaling for about 8 months, transitioning to becoming an investor myself, attending a lot of network events. I was supposed to attend one of them last night. Um, about PropStream, because PropStream, there's new features and new things that are showing you little hacks, I guess, on how to do that. I just didn't get a chance to attend that event whatsoever. It was over here in Southern California. So I'm always attending other meetups as well too, because I'm always trying to network, trying to find either buyers, JV with other wholesalers as well too, and that's honestly how you come across that opens up like a lot more opportunities. So just attending network events as much as possible, that truly helps out, especially when it comes to this business of real estate wholesaling. That it really comes significantly into hand, especially if you're going to be starting out as well too. Don't know where to start up. Attend any and all real estate events that are happening near you, and that's honestly going to open up all those doors for you. So with that being said, well, let's get started with real estate wholesaling. So real estate wholesaling, like I was just mentioning, it is a marketing and sales. You always got to get in front of somebody's face at all times. Um, and part of that, it's definitely challenging at times, but it's perfectly fine. Is because that's part of any process when it comes to business, because this is a business that we have to be running. So there are all these steps that we have to go through when it comes to real estate wholesaling, from finding properties, which there's a ton of websites out there, Redfin, Zillow, PropWire, HUD.gov, for sale by owners. There's just so many websites out there where you can come across properties. But it's all about getting a property, getting in touch with those sellers, and then finding out what it is that they're finding out, the motivation, how let them know how quickly you can close as well too, and then determine like the property's value, and then also do your due diligence, because when you do your numbers, you have to bring those numbers out, all that information over to an end buyer. But we're going to go through what I focus on. These real estate wholesaling events are basically the analysis side, where we go through the estimated repairs and the maximal allowable offers as well too. More one-on-one, I definitely can help you with like the negotiating prices, or help you out with like setting up some steps on the real estate wholesaling. But again, this is mainly a lot of what a lot of wholesalers get stuck is analysis paralysis, where in just one property you overanalyze it, like what if this, what if that, what if this. But I basically try to knock down all the noise away from all that, and then just try to niche it down to what I've designed, what best works for me, and also a calculator that you guys will have access to from my website, eltonvargas.com. On the calculators tab, head over to that, and then you can use coupon code not gatekeeping. So that way you can have access to the after repair value calculator, which leads to the next topic is ARV, or after repair value on properties. That is the number one thing a lot of investors are going to be that need to find out when doing like a deal. They need to find the ARV, and that ARV stands for after repair value. So what will the property be valued after it gets fully fixed up from here? And then from there, their numbers, they're going to do their numbers very differently. So as you guys can see, investor one is doing his numbers very different than investor two, and investor two to investor three. So all of them are going to be doing things very differently. Some of them can be fix and flippers. Some of them are going to do Airbnb. Some of them are going to be doing buying and holding. So it all really depends. And the way you come finding out how it is that they do their numbers is simply asking them like, hey, how do you actually calculate your numbers by any chance? And then from there, they're gonna let you know like, oh, I do this, I do the 70%, I do 80%, because each market area is gonna be very different all over the US. All of them are gonna be doing things very differently. So the next step about after repair value, it does come to repairs. We're not going to be focusing a lot in like picking down how the repair should be going, but rather just give you guys like a broad spectrum of how repairs actually get calculated. This is for nationwide. Some states like California, it does get very expensive. One of my actually, let me go back. One of my investors that he actually does things this way, where they actually get the ARV and multiply by 0.98. Then they put the repairs and their profit. And if there's a wholesaler that brings it over, they of course subtract like the wholesale fee. But if not, that's basically like their formula. So it's all about understanding how everybody does like their things. But when it comes to repairs, they're especially a fix and flipper that you come across, you want someone who's very active, because that person who's very active is basically going to have a specific contractor, either licensed or not licensed, however they prefer to do things, that already kind of knows what their cost bases are going to be. And they're going to either bring like their expenses a lot down, rather with someone who's new, they're going to play it safe, and they're going to bring a lot of more expenses into it, and their costs are going to be a lot higher than someone who's constantly being active and actually doing a lot of fix and flips. So when it comes to repairs, this is pretty much a standard all over the US. Light repairs, just pretty simple. This could be more a buy and hold person, who anyone who's renting, they just gotta come and clean it up and do little touches. Average repairs, now we're getting to like those fix and flippers. We're doing like a lot of major updates from there. And then gut job repairs, same thing. It's a fix and flipper that is gonna want to make sure that they maximize a lot of their deals. And they're gonna be taking a lot more work to do all of these deals. But again, these are the pretty much standard basic numbers all over the US. Now, when we're looking at properties, we do have to, part of the process is find properties to compare them over to, or comps as they call them. So these comps, we are going to be sticking with certain parameters, because when a property gets appraised, the appraisers, they stick within the neighborhoods. They don't go outside of those neighborhoods whatsoever. And they have certain parameters that they're going to be sticking to. So those comp parameters are going to be, um, first things first is going to be finding a property that it's within the same square footage. They're going to go plus or minus 300. Some of them are going to probably go 400, 500. It all comes down to how it gets done over there, but pretty standard. It's like 250 to like 300. Square footage, that's applied to like the whole lot. This is more in the Midwest properties that are like have large land available. That's where you're gonna be considering a lot of a square footage into place, because again, you're looking into more square footage and acreage type of properties out there in the Midwest. Something big, they are going to be sticking with a half mile to a 1 mile radius for all these comps. And they're definitely within that radius. They're definitely not going to be crossing any double yellow line roads whatsoever. And what a double yellow line road is basically something like this. This is over here in Long Beach. It's This is Ocean Boulevard in Long Beach, which is a busy area. And as you can see, we have buses. There's gonna be a major traffic, especially when it comes to like the rush hour. Over here, it does get really busy, so there's just constant movement going on. Where an appraiser, he or she's not going to be looking at a comparable from one side of the street of Ocean compared to another property on the other side. Even if it's within the same parameters, they're just not going to be pulling that comp because again of that busy and major highway. Additionally, too, stick within the same years. Don't compare a 1940s to 1950s home to a 2023 home because again, that's different materials, different build, different times. It's just going to be it's very different from there. Even if they look the same, it's just not something that you want to stick to. You want to stick to comparing apples to apples, not apples and oranges. And of course, you want to look for comps. You want to find three comps. Sometimes you may be able to get away, depending on your end buyer. You may be able to get away with one comp. I've never gone away with one comp whatsoever. But it always comes down to having more information because again, the comps that I pull is going to be very different from the comps that the end buyers could be pulling. And then the comps that they pull compared with another buyer are going to be very different. So again, everybody does things very differently in real estate. Every so often you come across some comps that are very similar, but basically just always play it safe. Play it safe, but also be aggressive on the numbers because again, everybody's going to be doing things right differently, and then they're going to question how it is that you come up with your analysis and a lot of your numbers, and that's where you want to bring in all the information so far. So now let's say you get a property under contract. You're trying to get a property under contract because maybe your neighbor told you that they're interested on selling their home. You have a strong relationship with them. You know them for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Whenever you're trying to get a property under contract, you do want to play it safe. Again, continue playing it safe on your side. And then you want to submit certain contingencies or certain terms whenever you're getting a property under contract because again, you're doing a business where you have to bring somebody else into the property for them to check it out. Or if you're doing it virtually, somebody has to come in there to check it out themselves. Some buyers will actually want to send it out. They'll send out the contractors. They'll come themselves. So you do want to you do want to set up certain contingencies. One of them is the time, how quickly you can close. This will vary depending on your seller. If he or she wants to sell quickly and they're already fully moved out, or if they're going to need extra time to fully move out, that you have to add a part of the contingency. When I used to work with a lot of when I used to work with a lot of agents, it's all about speed with agents because I want to see how much inventory they used to have. So we used to set up our standard closing time to be between 21 to 30 days, and agents really love that because it's all about moving their inventory because agents are in the service of the sellers, but at the same time, they are in the sales business as well too. So they have to move on to something else or just they do the marketing so that way they can get more inventory. And if we like a lot of the inventory that a lot of agents have, then it really works best to have and build that relationship because they're constantly seeing how you move and then also how quickly you're able to close and how smoothly everything goes that they just want to continue bringing more deals from there. Those relationships take a little bit longer, but I'm not going to get too much on topic with that. Next is closing fees. This is something that you can add to this to the contract. You can kind of hold it off in the beginning if you want to. We like to disclose it off the bat just because you can use it as a back end where maybe the seller doesn't want to budge. Maybe they just need that extra assistance and maybe paying those closing fees might help out. So you just have to use it and then get like a sense of how the deals being set up so far, where you can bring it up front to just get out the way, or you can use it as a strategy maybe to like close it out just because they need that extra little bump to close out the deal. EMD or earnest money deposit. This basically it's the earnest interest into like the property. This is pretty standard where you have to submit a 1%. When you're bringing a deal to an end buyer, you can tell them to they have to put like a little bit more as well too. You can tell them that it's non-refundable or refundable. That is really up to you. I stick to refundable just because I don't want to take somebody else's money whatsoever. And then additionally to the last one, this is the most important of them all. It is 15-day business 15 business day inspection period. This inspection period, it is non-negotiable. It has to be mustly included into the contract. Even if you come across a property or somebody telling you that they don't allow any inspections off the bat, that's something that I'm a back away from. But the reason you need to have the inspection period is to make sure that the property is free and clear, that there's no liens or debts on the property, which title is going to be doing that. Additionally, too, it's about finding your end buyer. So this is a time where you're going to actually take the time to take the pictures, set up the put all the marketing together so that way you can send it out to end buyers and then have them come into the property and check out the property themselves. So send somebody into it. And I like to put in Monday through Friday. The reason why from 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. is because I usually like to tell sellers and agents that these are the times that a lot of our contractors work. They only work basically business days. They don't work weekends whatsoever. So this is times that we'll have them come in and check out the property for us to see what it is that we can do. And then additionally, too, part of the inspection period is you don't submit the EMD into you're satisfied, or you actually have an end buyer who wants to move on forward with closing with the deal, that you submit the EMD to the title company, and then from there you deposit the money that your end buyer sends over to you, or you can deposit it out of your pocket from the deal. And then additionally from there, the end buyer is going to be depositing some of it over to you, and then just everything's going to get worked through title from there. I gotta hopefully I can come back soon. Oh, okay. Remember, this is it's already getting recorded, so it's gonna be available in a few hours, so that we can rewatch it, or you can head over to eltonvargas.com, and then the videos will be uploaded there as well too, Bao, if you get a chance to come back as well too. So now what I want to do is basically go over a game called Deal or No Deal. This is a live example of a property I was actually interested, because again, I'm transitioning over to be an investor myself. So we got to go through it together, so that way you guys can check it out for me, and then you guys can tell me. I already know the answers, but again, I'm trying to put you guys on the spot as well too. And I'd definitely love to hear from you guys as well too. I don't want to be the only one here talking. I'm going to be asking some questions, so that way this can be very interactive. Um, so this is a live example from Montgomery, Alabama. This is a for sale by owner. So that means the seller, they don't have any agent representation whatsoever. So they're putting it out there either on Craigslist, Facebook. They're putting it also on Zillow as well too, that they're selling it themselves without that representation. The reason they do that is because they don't have the money. They can't afford to pay like the agent. They're maybe already really tight like on the money for selling like the property. But additionally too, what I found out about this property is that the seller has been doing like a quite amount of price cuts. And the last price cut that the seller did was a $31,000 price cut in November 27th. So almost a month and a half or so already at this point. It's been on Zillow for sale by owner for 61 days, which is a good time frame, because again, they're either losing patience, or maybe they're just not finding like the right person to come across for them. And the seller is asking $159,000. So far, that's the property information. The next step is seeing the repairs. So these are some of the pictures that I put into place. Going back, we're gonna go back to like the repair costs. But so far, I do see like what kind of repairs it needs. Based on you guys, and based if you just take a look at the picture still, what you guys are able to analyze. Based on the repair costs, I'm gonna go back to the repair cost slide so that we guys can look into it as well too. How much do you guys think or about where would that stand in terms of repair costs? So if we go back to these repair costs, where would it stand? Would it stand more in the average repairs, gut job repairs, kind of light repairs? What do you guys think?
Category 3, I guess.
I'm sorry,
Gut
one more
jut.
time.
I think the third one, gut jut repair,
Gut
because
job repairs?
yeah, I think because kitchen and bathroom needs renovation.
Yes. Good, good. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else with other thoughts? Or everybody, does everybody concur with Shima? Oh, okay. Well, that's perfectly fine. I can see why you will head over to gut job repairs. But with this one, I would actually go with average repairs. And the reason why is because gut job repairs, and I should definitely maybe put like an example of it as well too. Gut job repairs are basically think about if the property didn't have any walls. So there's no walls, there's no carpet whatsoever. Maybe there's no kitchen or there's like a kitchen, but it's just everything outdated. So everything's kind of stripped down from like the property. And so this will be is more on the average repairs where we can change like the carpet or change like the flooring, paint up the walls, as well too. Definitely do the kitchen and the bathrooms like you're mentioning. Those two are going to be the major ones. But that's pretty much it. The other ones are they're gonna do a little bit more, maybe update like the water heater, roof. I don't have a picture of the outside, but the way I checked when I was checking out this property live, the roof was perfectly fine as well too. And so to me, it's just more like on the inside where it just needs those extra little touches from there. And so based on my estimates, let me see if I put it here. My estimates for this property, because we have to go based on the square footage. The square footage is 1192. I will be close to up there, kind of in the 35, maybe $40 per square foot. So really close to like the gutter repairs, but not just over that whatsoever. So that should be putting us close to like either 35 to like $40,000 on the repairs. Again, this is from my experience where I've seen like a lot of deals. Again, maybe if I come across like a gut job repair, I'll bring that as an example. But let's just continue moving on forward with this one to like analyze it. So next we're gonna be analyzing. Part of the way I analyze things is I'm not thinking about my wholesale deal. I'm thinking about, okay, how much is my end buyer gonna really buy this for? What would their offer be like? And this is the way I'm analyzing it. So whenever I look on a property on however much is getting listed for, either by a owner or maybe I come across a property that it's not they don't have an asking price whatsoever. I'm gonna show you guys how to go about that. But for this example, right here, the seller is asking $159,000. Uh, our end buyer is going to be paying the closing costs. So the closing costs are going to be 10% of the asking price. If you were to buy it for yourself, it will be only between 2 to 5% for it. So I always like to play it safe and say 5%. But then my end buyer is going to be paying the closing costs if maybe I implemented part of the term to make it easy for the seller to like negotiate on the deal. Then we'll bring in the closing cost of 10%. Repairs, I estimated around $35 per square foot times the size of the property, which is roughly around $42,000 on repairs, which is kitchen, bathrooms, floors, painting, maybe some lighting as well too, and then check out anything else that needs to like get updated. Of course, consider my investor how much they want to make. They want to make 15% out of the deal. So I will sum all this up, the 159, 15, 42 plus the 15% of the property. And basically what this seller is telling me that is for this to be a fix and flip, I basically need to find a property similar to in the neighborhood that sold around the ARV of $250,000 basically. So now it gives me like a sense, all right, let me see if the seller is right, or I actually need to do a deep dive on the property and the neighborhood and then see if I can find something very close to that 249, 500 or 250 for the ARVs. So then now when I look for properties that are sold in the last 6 to 9 months for this property, this is basically what I found. And remember, I'm still in the back of my head, I'm thinking about those comp parameters that we were talking about. I'm thinking about this. I'm not crossing any double yellow lines, half-mile radius, looking for properties that are plus or minus 300 in the square footage. So this is the entire neighborhood. We have a freeway over here. It looks like we have another busy road right over here. Because this road is an off-ramp exit, I'm considered to be maybe like a busy road as well too. So I'm gonna be looking for my comps within this specific neighborhood, and I do see quite very few of them. And that to me, that's kind of erasing some red flags because that means there's not a lot of activity going up in this neighborhood. But it's perfectly fine. I just gotta continue doing my research. Now, when I keep on going to it, then I've come to conclusion that these are my top three comps. And these are the most recent one that sold in that area was in October. So, and I can see why the seller was trying to sell it for 159 because one of them sold for 150 and maybe the seller was considering even this one too that I sold for like 180. So they're like, oh, maybe I'll sell it in between or sell I can sell it for a little bit more than that. But again, it's just I gotta do my due diligence and go based on the actual facts of what's actually happening in the neighborhood. So the way I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna pull these three comps, I'm going to average them per price per square foot. And the way you do it is you get what the property sold for and divide it by what the square footage is for each one of them on those comps. So these three, I like them for it to be my best comps for this property. And I averaged out how much it is per price per square foot. Then I average all three of them out, and it turns out to be $115.50 per square foot for the property. And now I'm gonna multiply it by the square footage of my subject property. So the property that I'm looking into buying into, which is 1192, basically sums it up for the property that it could sell for $137,676. Or I'm just gonna average it out and call it an even clean $140 is gonna be my ARV. And then what I'm gonna be doing with that is basically do further numbers. Any questions so far before I actually move on forward? Any questions how I come up with that 137,000 or anything you guys want me to repeat really quick? No? Okay, good.
One question. So, which formula did you use? You said they're like,
I
uh,
haven't used the formula yet.
oh, I see. Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is
So,
all, I'm just analyzing what's happening in the neighborhood. I'm finding, again, I got to find 3 to 5 comparables. I'm
mhm.
finding out how much of those comparables sold for per square foot. And then from there, I'm averaging, let's say I had 5 of them, then I will average all 5. But for this one, I only have 3 great comps. This one sold around September, but that's already kind of like cutting way too far back as well too. And the prices are just getting lower and lower. So I want to use the most recently sold and kind of better updated than my current property. So I'm not using any formulas right now. I'm just averaging it out, the price per square foot on each single comparable. And then from there, multiplying by the square footage of the property that I'm looking into. So I got the 115 times that, then that gives me that ARV. So that's so far what the property can sell for. Because again, part of the formula is to find the ARV of a property, what it can sell once it gets fully fixed up. And this is that ARV basically for me to start working on the formula,
Got
which
it. Okay.
leads to the next thing of the formula. So now, because again, I'm trying to match it out to here. So now we got to this step. I already did my homework. I did my due
Mhm.
diligence. Now I'm gonna put it all together and then put it into place with the formula, which is gonna be right over here. So first things first is gonna be
Got
the
it.
ARV. The ARV is $140,000. My investor, they would do their 70% rule. So it's gonna be $42,000 on their side. Repairs, it's also going to be included on a part of the formula as well too. So this is how much my end buyer is going to be purchasing would want to purchase this specific property for, which is $100,000 less from what the seller is asking for, because again, they're going to do their homework as well too, but I'm gonna make it easier for my end buyer and show them all the homework that I did to them, so that way they can see I know the stuff and how much I'm able to get it under contract for, if I happen to get it under contract for $56,000 or maybe less from there. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
awesome. Now, additionally, too, I do have to add my wholesale fee into this. So then now my wholesale fee, let's say I want to make a $10,000 wholesale fee. What's going to be my maximal allowable offer on this deal?
66. Oh, sorry. No, deducting it from. Yeah,
46.
66.
You said it, deducting it. So it's good. My
Yeah,
maximal
46.
allowable offer is going to be
Yeah, this one.
$46,000.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Too low.
So yeah, so now it's like, man, I don't even think the seller is gonna be accepting that offer. They're just gonna like straight up hang up on me. And that's perfectly fine because again, we're doing our due diligence. We're doing the homework. I don't know if the seller would just like maybe they have a friend agent that just told them sell it for this much. But again, part of the thing that I was paying attention to, and I'm not sure if you guys remember as well too that I brought it up, is there's been price cuts. The seller has been doing price cuts, and then the last price cut was over almost 45 days ago, where the seller did a $31,000 price cut. So I can imagine how much the seller had it already beyond that, and it was just not selling whatsoever. So it was basically the property, it was just way too overpriced that the seller is slowly and steady just doing those price cuts from there. So then again, either the seller's not getting an activity because he or she's just selling it for way too high. Maybe the seller is just being stubborn and stern and they want to get their money as well too. So they need to sell it for that price because maybe they bought it for however knows who much, maybe $100,000. So, but again, I gotta go based on what's actually happening in that neighborhood, or as we saw earlier, on that specific area that we're looking into, show them what the facts are actually happening into it. So but with the seller, I'm not gonna work a lot of like pitching them. Well, I need to buy it at this because X, Y, and Z. No, I gotta work on the relationship with the seller. So I gotta figure out what their motivation is. That's the number one thing from them, trying to figure out why are they selling, how long did they lived in that property, maybe were they renting it out or were they actually living in the property? If they were renting it out, for how much did they invest in the property, if they did like any updates or repairs, um, anything like basically try to get more of like what's going on. Are they emotionally attached to the property and they need the money for maybe something else that is emotionally happening in their life, or are they financially attached to the property that they're just strictly to like the numbers? I want to get a sense of which scenario it is. So I have to ask like a lot of questions. And I'm gonna show you guys one of the roadmaps as well too on how to go with those questions. But basically, when I bring this offer in, before I even bring it, I just have to work that relationship side first and then bring in the numbers afterwards. Because yeah, real estate is about numbers, but it's all about relationships and networks and just try to build that first before anything else moving on forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So then now that I have the most that I can bring to like the table, are you guys would you start at that a number, or where would you guys start off the bat?
A little bit lower, maybe 40.
Yes, yeah, good. So I'll definitely start lower. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go $10,000 less, so that way, sometimes I like some sellers pay attention to it, but how much you're increasing. So I'm gonna play with like maybe $10,000 less, and then increase it by $5,000, and I'll increase it by another $5,000. And then just in case, like maybe I have like an end buyer that I ended up talking to I kind of give them like hints of what the property could sell it for, and they tell me that maybe they can buy for a little bit more, or they're like, I need to buy at this specific price of the $56,000. Maybe I'll just have to end up cutting some of my wholesale fee into it, and I could probably go a little bit higher than that, and that'll be like probably like my top off for me to try to get like a $5,000 wholesale fee into place. Some deals are not going to always be those crazy deals that you guys will see as well too, posted on Facebook of 30, 50. You will come across those, but the reasons a lot of those deals come across is because they're negotiating. It's just all about negotiating, but even before negotiating, it's building that relationship as well too, and also just touching on those pain points from the seller directly, so that way you can start working on the numbers, and if, again, try to be the assistance to the seller and let them know how it is that you can help out on this deal, that they're able to get those crazy low numbers and then get a higher commission out of that, which is definitely doable, but it just takes a good amount of communication, follow-ups, and just being consistent with the seller, so that way you can show your seriousness into place, just in case they're not getting a lot of activities, not a lot of activity on a property, especially like this one. There just hasn't been any activity. I will also check out if it's been under contract. So there's a lot of things I will go through, like checking on the property and see what's going on, but mainly focus directly on the seller and why it is that they're selling the property. So that was a kind of a live example because this property is actually live. But somebody has anything to say? One more time. Oh, I thought somebody had a question. Sorry. But that's gonna be a live example. Let me just unshare my screen and then share my other screen. So then now to help expedite that process whatsoever, let me get out of this presentation. Now comes the calculator. So this is the calculator I was telling you guys. You just head over to eltonvargas.com, and then under the calculators tab, this could be like a section to subscribe to it. If you guys use the coupon code not gatekeeping, you're gonna have access to the ARV calculator. So all those numbers that we're just going through are basically set up right here. You put the property information, you look at the repairs. Again, use the picture of what the repairs will be like. I can even upload like some of the pictures as well too, so that we guys can get like a stand of it, or if you guys like to write them down as well too, these are it. Is the more repairs you have to add into like the plays, then of course the more it is. But I think I do have no, I don't have it over here. Is as do like repairs, so how much the property needs to repairs. Some properties, if you're looking outside of like kind of like in the Midwest, there's a lot of properties out there that have basements. Over here in California, properties don't have basement, so I would just put 0 on the basement. And again, it's going to give you like the ARV. The ARV on the left side is basically the ARV of how much the seller is going to be putting the property. So if I were to put all these numbers again on our subject property of the 159 1192 square footage. Again, I'm putting the $35 a square foot for repairs. Take away the basement because there's no basement over here. Then it gives me the estimated repairs. My investor, they want to make 15% profit. Basically, this is how much the ARV I need to find for. And then there's this other ARV of how much I possibly need to get it under contract as well too. If I were to buy the property for $111,300. That's if that offer happens to get accepted, but I need to do more homework. And again, based on the comps that I was able to find in the neighborhood, those comps were selling for a lot more or a little bit less. So it was like 103, 124, 124 and 120, 124. Then you put the 120 here, and that's how I got the square foot, the ARV found. And then basically this is what I'll put in the ARV. I went a little bit higher just because by the time it gets fully updated, the home could sell a little bit more as well too. And then my end buyers could be a fix and flip, or if it's going to be a buy and hold as well too, it could be a buy and hold buyer. But maybe the one that I found is a fix and flip, and that's how I got that fixed $56,000 price point. And then again, I'm gonna subtract my wholesale fee and start negotiating from there. And also shows you what the profit will be for this end buyer. Or if it's a buy and hold, same thing. It's going to show you how the buy and hold buyer, how much they're going to be making out of it. If your end buyer tells you like, oh, I want to make between 20 to like 30, $40,000 per deal, or they want to make more, then this deal wouldn't really work for them. So far for this deal, the answer for this one was to me, it was not a no deal, and the reason why it was just mainly the activity that is actually happening. So far, one of the comps was like really strong, but at the same time, there was just not a lot of activity from other buyers or other fix and flippers in the area. Maybe this would have been good for like a end buyer for that is buying and holding if they're interested on doing that. But a fix and flipper, maybe not, and then maybe possibly for an end buyer whatsoever. Okay. Now I'll definitely want to do like another example, or if you guys have like your own properties as well too that you want me to analyze for you, so that way we can go through it together and see how we can work. By all means, let me know. But if not, then I'll definitely use like the spin the wheel from here. And let's see what do we got. So we got Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I'm gonna use Redfin. I'm also gonna pull up Zillow, and I'm also gonna pull up propwire.com. All these three sources are complete for free. Um, and then let's check out Fayetteville. What's it popping up? Was it Fayetteville? Well, yeah, oh, Fayetteville. Fayetteville. And let me see if we can find some properties over here, Arkansas. All right, cool. Any questions? Meanwhile, I'll try to pull this up for you guys. Meanwhile.
I have questions, but I guess I ask at the end. I don't want to interrupt your
Okay.
analyzing.
Yeah, no, you're perfectly fine. What I'm trying to look for over here is the county of Fayetteville. Usually, Washington County. All right, beautiful. Just so I can get a bigger area from here. Washington County and Arkansas. Same thing with Zillow, Washington County. Uh, uh, Oregon, PA, Utah. Why is it not popping up? Which one to pop up? Well, is it AR? I think it is. AR. Here we go. All right. Beautiful. So I'm gonna try I'm trying to look for some properties, trying to see where Fayetteville is, get like a sense of like the areas are as well too. I'm not gonna be looking for any properties that are like kind of like over here. Again, that's looking into like those farm style homes. I want to stick in the urban areas where there's a lot of population, a lot of activity going on. This could probably be like a 15-20 minute drive for them. But again, I'm just trying to stick more closely to like the neighborhoods over here. So I'm gonna be looking for some houses that are already listed. And then earlier I was mentioning about what if you come across a property that doesn't have or you come across a property that there's no asking price, it's just basically an off market that I knocked on the door, and from there we're just trying to find out the property from there. The cool thing about it is Zillow, Redfin, they provide what's called like their estimates. Sometimes it will say you will say it right over here, or sometimes it won't say it, just like it shows right now. It will show like what their estimates will be somewhere over here. But let's say, for example, this property right over here, this is why I like PropWire. Um, Again, sometimes it will say it, sometimes it won't say it. You will see like the estimated value of what the property is, and you can use that as the asking price or kind of like the price point where things will start off. If the seller goes beyond that, then again, it's all about figuring out like how'd you come up with that price, or what's going on. Have you gotten offers that high already? and just try to figure out what's actually happening with that. So that's why I like to use different resources so I can find out as much as information about a property as much as possible from there. But from here, I'm trying to look for a gut job repair property. And actually, I think I can find one for sale by owner one. So there's another website as well too that I like to use for sale by owners where owners want to sell like their own homes. And let me see, Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right, beautiful. So this is another website. Sometimes they're listed by an agent. It will tell you off the bat as well too. It will say listed by something realty or something like that. Um, let's see. So not this one. But sometimes they have to the agents really have to put their information in here and it will say like property details and then who the agent is on that property whatsoever. So this is for sale by owner by an actual homeowner. But I'm trying to find a property that it's like completely destroyed, kind of like this one. Let's see here. And they only have 3 pictures. Okay, that's not really going to help out. But let's use this one as an example. 1638. Oh, never mind, already sold. Um, oh, property type. Let's go for houses. Let me apply that. Um, that's like the lowest one, but all these houses are already sold. Okay, so that's not gonna work. So let me go back to Redfin. I'll find something over here for sure. Um, so then what I want to look for here is I am going to set a little bit of filters. So let me set these filters. I'm looking for a home. I'm looking for a home that has been sitting for more than 45 days. Um, I'm looking for a home that has a minimum of 1,000 square feet. And I'm looking for a home that is not built beyond 2005. So now it's gonna pull up all these properties. I have this 90,000. Again, it's kind of not too far, but I'm just not liking that. 190. Looking more inwards here. 216. Let's go with this 205. This one looks really good. Very outdated. Um, so let's start listing down so far everything that it needs. What do you guys can see so far that it needs? We'll go through the pictures together.
Paint, floor,
Mm-hmm.
kitchen,
Mm-hmm. Definitely kitchen. Uh,
wall, I guess. A lot of it wall.
yeah, it looks like some of the walls. I'm not sure if this is mold or what. If something it could be just that specific wall, but it's
Door,
check out. Yeah, so you start listing things. Windows, I will say it as well too. Change the sliding doors. Something else. So you also have
ceiling,
uh,
every paint.
definitely. Yeah, so definitely paint, kitchen, bathroom floors, windows. So we're getting to and like a lot of this, I'm not sure if this is like
Walls.
water damage or what's actually happening. Something else from the floors I like to pay attention to see it's like watermarks to see if there's like floodings as well too, like in the neighborhood. So I want to check out like the flooding area. Definitely maybe might need to like either power wash or depending on how how this is how strong that little patio thing is. Definitely, the roof doesn't look too old. It looks a good like 12, 12 to like 14 years old already. And then definitely do like the outside. And again, definitely some of the windows as well too. All right. So now let's start putting all those details into the calculator. So they're asking for
I'm sorry. So, what was your filter again that you found this? You
Oh,
said 40 days.
so yes, I'm gonna pull up the filter. So I'm looking for homes that are been in the market for 45 of or more days.
Mhm.
Um, I'm looking for properties that are 1,000 square feet or more from there. And additionally, I'm looking for properties that are not have not been built beyond 2005. So 2005 and young and older from there.
Got it. Got
And
it.
then definitely sometimes exclude like 55 plus communities because they'll pop up as well too in certain areas or cities from there.
Got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
of course. So let's start putting all the info. I forgot the square footage. 1458. So $205,000. This is listed with an agent. So now this is a different battle I'm gonna be going with because again, this is a property that an agent has listed. And with this, and additionally too is how long has it been listed for? It's been listed for 60 days, which is really good. It has an AC, great, because I'm pretty sure does get hot or humid over here in Arkansas. I'm also looking to see if it was um, previously under contract. And then so far, this property has been previously under contract, and I will ask about that as well too. The reason why I would ask about that is because if there was a buyer that was interested, why did they back away from the deal? Did they find out like it's just gonna cost too much? Maybe there's a foundation, there was like a leak, maybe it just floods too much. Like what's actually happening with the property? Sometimes it will definitely be it could be more about like the seller. The seller is stuck at the asking price of the 205 and they're not willing to go any lower than that. And they're not even considering the repairs that it's gonna take for this property to take. So I'm gonna try to get all that information from the agent. And the cool thing with an agent is a lot of times they look for comparables themselves. So I'm gonna try to ask the agent, like, what kind of comparables did you find for this neighborhood for it to be a good fix and flip, for it to be good for me or my partners that we'd like to do a lot of fix and flips from here. So there's a lot of things that you definitely have to go when the agent, and then there's a lot of questions you have to different questions that you have to go directly with the seller from there. As well too. So then the things that we were listing, we're kind of heading over towards like the gutcha repairs because there was a good amount of repairs that were listed. So we listed floors, kitchen, bathroom, paint, walls, maybe lighting, maybe piping as well too, outside as well too, windows. So we are kind of heading over towards like that gut-up repairs. So I'm definitely going to stick with like that $45 per square foot mark. If you always want to play it safe, you can always go $5 more just in case of anything. I'm gonna play it safe and I'm actually gonna go $5 more from it. So it basically estimates my $74,900 on repairs. Um, I gotta figure out how buyers do like a lot of the deals over here. I'm gonna go safe and just so that way they can get a good amount of their money. I'm gonna say 20%. 20% is pretty standard for a lot of fix and flippers. Between 15 to like 20% is pretty standard. So I'm gonna stick with that 70%. And again, so far the agent is telling me that look, if you were to spend $74,000 in repairs, almost 75. If you were to buy this property at $205,000, you also pay my seller's closing costs, and you want to make 20% of the deal, you need to sell the property for $360,000. Or if we rely on what we need to get it under contract for, maybe $143,000 or less, then we need to find a comparable that sold for $279,300. So I gotta find properties that sold in the neighborhood between these two prices over here, and I gotta see what's actually happening. So what I like to do is I like to duplicate the property that I'm looking into, go back to the search area so I can go back to where the property was selling from. I think it was like somewhere over here. Um, is this it? Yeah, this is it right here. So there's a school close by. I do see this major road already popping up over here, Whittington Drive, that it's looks like it's a highway or maybe like a busy road, and also the freeway as well too. What I like about Zillow and Redfin, they have like their drop buttons. So and I see this major road, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw my outline of where it is I'm gonna be sticking to. Oh, but actually, before I do the outline, I gotta change this to sold, and I gotta look for properties in the last between 6 to 9 months. Let me remove all my filters. I hate this thing sometimes. Let me restart all over again. So 6 months sold. Why is it not letting me? All right, cool. 6 months old. I'm looking for a property, same thing, close to my subject, plus or minus 300 square footage. And again, I'm sticking within the same year as well too, and the same area. So this is going to be a property that is, it's a house. I'm looking for, what is it? It was almost 1,500. So 1,200 or higher, and then 1,800 the most. And I'm not gonna do the years for right now, but let me see what I'm able to find. And then now I'm gonna draw my little map area so I can stick to this area. And the reason why I'm sticking to this area is because um of these two major roads, Garland Avenue and then also Weddington Drive. Let me do this line better. I'll do this square right over here. That way it's cleaner. All right, cool. So far, my subject property is right over here. We have a good amount of comps, not too bad. Let's see here. Why are they popping up? Why isn't the list popping up? All right, guys. I don't know what's happening with Redfin. Okay, so I'm not gonna do a line because for whatever reason, it's just glitching it out and it's not showing me the properties over here. So I'm gonna go for the most recently sold property. Um, this first one is 310. Again, it's in the other side of that highway. The next one we have this 142 property. Um, I want to make sure that it's updated. There's no pictures or nothing whatsoever. No, there's no details about it. So I'm looking for properties again that are updated because I'm looking for ARV or after repair value properties or at least in better condition properties. This one's not too bad. Looks like there's updated appliances in here. Great bathroom too. So it's in a way better condition than our subject property. Maybe the kitchen could use a little bit update, but that's one bathroom looks like it got updated. The other one got neglected. So like this, that's why. Let's see here. All right, so I wanna use this one, and again, the square footage sold, it's right over here. So I'm gonna start putting this into my comp. So first one off the bat is 198. I got two more to find, so let's see what else we can find. The next one is December 4th, this 325 property. Here's a good one. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a property that it's like updated, great floors, great walls, great lighting, um, painted as well too. So this is a home that got taken care of. And the kitchen, looks like they did. Oh no, it looks pretty good in the kitchen. Because I thought this was a different color. It kind of is a different white for whatever reason. Maybe it's just like the lighting of it. No, they're definitely different. Yeah, they're definitely different. Maybe they just did like some painting, so they already did a little work on the kitchen. That's perfectly fine. But everything else fully updated, and that's what I'm looking for. These are the type of comps, updated a bathroom, cabinets, as well too, and roof. Roof looks a little bit newer, doors. So this is basically what I'm the type of comp I'm looking for. And then this one sold for 241 per price per square foot. So let me add this one in. This could be part of my comp. So that's two. I need to find one more. This one sold outside of this area. So that one probably won't work. And then we have this 281. It's right over here. This one sold in November, not too far out. Same thing like the one that we were just checking out. Updated floors. Not sure. That's like some small painting thing that you gotta do. Um, Kitchen could definitely use like a little bit update. So it looks like that's how a lot of the kitchens are like in Arkansas or over here because appliances are really updated. This just needs like a little bit of the floors of the carpet. I mean, maybe change the carpet and then maybe update like this inside of the bathroom because they updated the sink over here. So not too bad. Let's see what's on 197. So those are gonna be my three comps. So I'm gonna get those three. And basically it's telling me that this property can sell for 317, 576. So I'm gonna call it at 318 ARV. I'm looking for a fix and flipper. And then how much was the property being sold for in the beginning? 205. Okay, so this one's not too bad. The our aggressive end buyer, they'll be willing to buy for like 147, 700. And then we have another end buyer that is looking to do a little bit less. They're not gonna play it too aggressive. They're willing to buy for like 170,000, which is not too bad. Again, I'm gonna play it on the aggressive side. And I'm gonna try to get it close to like a less than $147,000. Because again, I'm based estimating on a good amount of repairs as well too. My seller is gonna be making my end buyer is gonna be making 20%. And basically, if they make the 20%, they're going to be making about 47 to like $50,000. So I'll have to come across an end buyer that is basically looking for that. But basically, I'm looking for to get the property under contract with between these two numbers, 147 and 170, or maybe definitely less, the better. And the reason I will play with this property, I'll play the time. It's been sitting for way too long already, and it's also been on the contract in the past in November. So it's about to hit almost 2 months since they got like the last contract, and they already did like a price change. So I'll even follow up with I'll check it with the agent too. Like, hey, are you guys thinking about doing like a price change by any time? Because if they're thinking about doing a price change, I'm not gonna bring my offer until they do that price change whatsoever. So I'll play that game, that patience game, so that way I can even get it even lower from there. So those are little tactics that I've used as well too in the past of just playing the waiting game, just because I'm asking a lot of questions so I can get more information. Especially with this property that is listed with an agent, I'll definitely get the most questions out of the agent from there. But those are basically two live examples that we did on how to basically comp a lot of the properties and then get like a sense of where my offer needs to come in based on where my buyers will buy it for. And then we did the research. We found three comps that sold at a good reasonable price per square foot, and they gave us what our ARV from here. So this ARV basically stands kind of in between the two price points, which is not too bad. Um, uh, but that's basically the whole analysis paralysis. You overcome that just by simply doing a little bit of research, putting in some numbers, and then finding out how much an end buyer will want to buy your property for or your contract for. Because again, that's something major that they will do. They're going to do their own research. They're going to come up with their numbers, and you're still going to negotiate with them as well too, which is perfectly fine. It's just how they do it. But when you hit them with the with how much it is that they're making, and you get the property in the contract for less than what they will actually want to buy it for, then you know you have a full leverage because again, they can either be making more money themselves, or um, you just don't want to stick to one buyer. You just want to again find multiple buyers as well too. Don't let the first one buy it. Oh, I'll buy it for like this much. If they're willing to pay more, maybe like a buy and hold buyer, hey, then by all means, and then you got it for like $150,000 on the contract, then by all means try to get more out of your wholesale fee, and that's how you're able to get the wholesale fee. Just because one buyer is giving you one price doesn't mean that if you continue finding more buyers, that somebody else will want to buy it for a lot more from there. Okay. But now I'm gonna leave it open to some questions. Any questions, anything that you guys want me to go back to whatsoever? This is the time for that.
I can go first.
Yeah.
So do you um like do you trust just the pictures, or you ever go in person to see the property before you put the offer?
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason of getting the property in the contract for is And also, if it's with the seller directly, it's if you're doing it virtually, somebody has to come check it out. And a lot of sellers will want to put you in a trap. Well, why don't you come check it out and then we get in the contract? Well, look, if I want to show you how serious I am, so I prefer to get it under contract first, check it out, do my due diligence, and if it's worth it, cool. If it's not worth it, you lost only a couple days.
I see.
And so
Uh,
under contract before doing anything else from there, because again, the ones that are going to give you the feedback are your end buyers. Your end buyers are the ones that are going to tell you how much actually needs, which most likely, again, all the time they're going to tell you all it needs more repairs than what you actually estimated. And then yes, you can come across a buyer that end buyer that's going to tell you, oh, I can definitely do it for a lot less than that. So that's why repairs, I don't really strictly not like to like spend a lot of time into that. I just want to list. If I'm listing 7, 8 things, then I'm getting towards like towards the kind of the gut job repairs, which I wanted to pull up as well to what a gut job home is as a live example. Let me see, what was the website? Was it HUD? Not HUD loans. I forgot what the website was. There's sometimes, let me see. Let me do Illinois. So I definitely know I'll find some in Illinois or Chicago. Chicago is just one of those areas, yeah, that you'll definitely come across a lot of properties. You know what? I'm gonna use Zillow. I know for sure it's gonna be more on Zillow. But any other questions? Go ahead. I'm just trying to pull this up as an example of a full gut job repair home in as an example.
so I wanted to ask about the title company. So you said after you put the offer and you like go on contract, then you start doing the give both contracts to title company. So how long does first of all, like what exactly they're doing? Like what's their role?
So their role is to make sure that the property is free and clear, that there's no debt on the property. Because if they tell you that if the property is not free and clear, then they're gonna let you know about that as well too. It has to be disclosed. Because if that title is not free and clear, maybe there's a lien, maybe there's some type of debt, big debt like on the property against like the property. Then that's something that you also want to consider. Besides mortgage, sometimes it's going to be mortgages like on the property. That's going to get deducted from like the seller, but their title is just basically making sure that both the buyer and the seller are agreeing to everything, that there's the earnest interest on the property, and also making sure that the property is free and clear.
So if like somebody like a seller at the same time go like to contract with two different people, so you find out at that time too, right?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Is
If
it possible like a seller like go to a contract with two different people, like two different wholesaler? So what's gonna happen at that time? Like
What do you mean with two different wholesalers, like from different cities?
no, I mean like what if like a seller so you put the
Oh, your
deposit too,
seller.
right?
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that part of the thing is once it's on that contract, it's they're on the contract with you whatsoever. The contracts that I have that are available for you guys completely for free, it's just part of it. It's you're in the contract with them and they cannot be they don't have the availability to have any backup offers whatsoever. You can write that. You can strongly write that additionally as well too, like strongly. But they should be like on the contracts that I have as well too, if I remember right, where they can't accept any backup offers.
And how long it takes the title company to like uh do their work and come up with a report or
It
something? How
varies.
long?
Again, it will
Uh-huh.
vary per property. Not every property is going to be very the same. I hate saying those words, but it's always going to be very different per property. Because
I know,
again,
but I mean average, because you have like 21 days, I guess, to close. So how long it takes for them to do this part of the work?
Well, the property won't close until the last day of the closing date. So wherever closing date is, where everybody's going to be coming in and they're just doing all the final financials. So the property, the title, they're going to do their work. They can take however long, but it's not about if they wrap up everything quicker, then we can no. It's all about the closing date, when the final closing date will be.
I mean, when you put the offer and you go on contract, so you tell them like in 20 days, for example, you close it. And then in 20 days you have to find a buyer plus
Remember,
ask
you
the
have to have your
title
inspection
company.
period. So within your inspection periods where you have to find your buyer.
Mm,
If you don't have a buyer within your inspection period, then that's when you have to cancel the contract because you're not going to be able to wholesale. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be the one stuck on the property. Where you have to buy it yourself out of your own funds. And then if let's say if you happen to have the funds and then you can close on the property at the asking price at the price that you got it on the contract for, then you can do what's called a double close. A double close is you close the same property with the title within the same day where you come across a buyer by the time it closes, the last closing date, and then you close like you can close the property. You buy the property, and then within the same day, you have another buyer buy that property from you within the same day. So you're
okay.
what's
Yeah, I
called
heard about it.
double closing. So, but
Yeah,
again,
but I
you would have
guess
the funds for
that's
that.
gonna be that's gonna be additional cost of like closing, adding to the wholesaler,
Well,
right?
yeah, that again, it's gonna cost you a lot more money, and then now you're cutting some of your profit from the wholesale business.
I see. And then you said if like within the inspection period you're not finding a buyer, you cancel the contract. Is it like that easy? Like cancel the contract? You
Oh yeah,
say like
again, it's part of the contracts is bringing it over to well, let the seller know like if you're not finding an end buyer, they're like, hey, look, we have to cancel because X, Y, and Z, or we're just running low money, whatever it is, you're gonna be letting know like in advance. So that way they can sign, you let them know that we have to terminate the purchase agreement. And then they're gonna be signing the termination. And then you bring that over to title and let them know that you have to terminate the contract for that property that you have going on.
I see. Can you explain about the earnest money deposit? What is exactly that?
So the EMD is the earnest interest that you have on the property. So that basically is if you don't bring any money into like the property, and then your end buyer, I mean your seller backs does that thing where you were talking about if they get under contract with somebody else, they're legally allowed to and they put it as a dollar amount into being under contract, then that's perfectly fine because if you try to sue that they went behind your back and you try to sue them with that, the judge is going to see you never put any money down. So that money down basically is a financial interest or earnest interest into buying the property. And then you're gonna within the contract, you wrote your terms that you want to do your inspection period, you want to do this, you want to do that. You wrote all the things but you didn't put any money down, then they're able to go with somebody else because you didn't put any money down. So earnest money deposit basically gives you it locks out the deal that you have financial earnest interest on acquiring that property with contingencies set into place.
Got it. So you're saying that's the money wholesaler put it to make sure like
So
on the
that money is gonna be you can deposit that money and then you can have your end buyer. Let's say for the example, this property it's gonna be 1%. So it's gonna be what is this gonna be $2,000 of EMD put into this property. Um, to your end buyer, you can tell your end buyer, it's up to you if you want to make like at least like something out of it, maybe like $500 out of it. You can tell your end buyer that, hey, you need to put in $2,500 non-refundable money into this deal, or you can tell them how much you actually put down yourself out of your own pocket, which is the $2,500 or $2,050, I mean. And then you tell them, hey, end buyer, I need you to give me $2,050 because I put the EMD down.
Mhm.
So it all
Uh,
depends which route you want to go to. I usually just put the money down ourselves and then have our end buyer just give us the money. And again, we either ask them for the exact amount, or if you want to make at least something out of it, just because of the time wasted, because I thought they were going to be really serious, I can amp it up from there by additional maybe $300, $500, whatever it is that you want to get out of it. That is going to be
so-
non-refundable to them.
okay. And if you can't happen like cancel the contract, this is refundable to you, right?
Yeah, that's going to be refundable to you. Part of the section of the contract is that for you is going to get refunded. For your end buyer is going to be, it's up to you if you put non-refundable or refundable to them as well too.
Okay. And you pay this to the seller or like a third
Title.
party or somebody else
Do
to sell?
never, do never, ever, ever send EMD to the seller or any other type of way, Zelle, WhatsApp, whatever it is. Everything, all that goes through title.
I see. All right. And then I guess let me see if I have any more question. Um, have you ever like had this experience like you go on a contract and it passed the dates and you like not able to find somebody, the buyer, and lose money on it?
Yeah, yeah. We come
Yeah.
the worst thing that is you can lose your EMD. That's the only thing about it. That's a lot of our deals that we've done in the past. It's in the Midwest, so it doesn't require like a lot of EMD. We're looking at 60, 90, 100, $150,000 properties. That could be good fix and flips for our end buyers, but sometimes we come across deals where we have to cancel them and they understand. And then the worst thing that we do is just lose our EMD.
Got it. Okay. I think that's all. Thank you so much. That
Of
was great.
course. Sarah, any questions? No, nothing. All right, that's fine.
No, I'm sorry about that. No, I'm good.
No, you're
Thank
fine, you're
you.
fine. Bob, I'm not sure if you ever got a chance to come back. Any questions? Anything else? Anybody? Any other questions that you have in mind? No, of course, my pleasure. Yeah, so any other questions you guys have? Remember, head over to the website. There's some quizzes on eltonvargas.com. Get the calculators if you haven't gotten them as well too. Use the code not gatekeeping. They're completely for free for the ARV. Um, Anything else that I do outside of that is one-on-ones. That's the only thing that I do pay for, that it is paid for. If you want to specifically do some cold calling together, marketing strategies, set up set up like the way the CRMs, whatever CRMs you want to do, just basically anything out that you guys need help more one-on-one, you can always book me one-on-one. And we will be coming back again hosting this on Monday. So any new questions or any other questions do pop up, just by all means ask away, don't hesitate. And additionally too, I was gonna say, oh, I didn't show you that's what I forgot to do. I didn't show what the gut property will look like, or what a horrible gut job will look like. I was trying to do it on Zillow. Oh, I think I might have closed it. Oh no, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here. So this is what a gut job property looks like. Because I was mentioning it needs like a good amount of repairs. This is going to be a gut job. It's just the walls. It has to be strictly stripped down because whatever happened over here is just a nightmare. And again, we do see a lot of these in Chicago. That's why I like to stay away from Chicago. But again, some other properties you go to come across them that are going to have no walls, and that's gonna be something, or you need to take down everything just because the materials in there are not gonna be working whatsoever. So this is what a gut job will be, and this is gonna cost more than $60 a square foot for repairs, just because it's gonna take a good amount of stuff to like get updates, floors, walls, everything pretty much from there. But that's the last thing I wanted to share with you guys. All right. But any other questions? If you guys don't have any, thank you for joining. Again, I'll see you guys on Monday if you're happy to join on Monday. And if not,
you.
have a great weekend. All right.
Thank you so much.
First,
Bye.
thank you. Have a blessed night. Happy Friday.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.